Good afternoon, YouTube. It's a particularly ugly day here in Chicago, which is I'm getting very little natural light, which is why I look blue right now. But you know, we're gonna persevere and do some cognac reviews. Okay, so I recently bought. Wait, where's the front? This is a 10-year-old cask strength uncut, unfiltered cognac from Gregarious Grump Spirits. Who the heck is that? Okay, Gregarious Grump is a side project of Christopher Hart, who is really over the past decade has become a pretty prominent, I don't want to say influencer, figure in the American whiskey scene. He's the guy behind the Whiskey Nerd podcast, does the Houston Whiskey Social, lots and lots of stuff. Pretty prominent figure. Anyways, this is something that happened when he, along with tons of other people, kind of realized that stocks of whiskey, especially stocks of older whiskey, are starting to get impossibly expensive for normal people. And so they started dipping their toes into sourcing rum and brandy. So that's basically what this is. This is Christopher Hart sourcing rum and brandy for whiskey folks. Now, I will say, what I immediately worry about when I hear that, when I hear kind of whiskey person sourcing brandy, is wood. I worry that this is going to be too woody. So that's, I mean, so this doesn't have like a silly finish on it or anything, which is, you know, thank God for that. So we passed that hurdle, but, you know, the tale will tell. If this is just like too much on the woody side, we'll have to taste it. And we'll have to taste it with some competition. The plus side of having a whiskey person doing sourcing is, I mean, look at this. It's unfiltered, uncut. I am guessing no sugar added to this, and no colorant. That looks like a fairly reasonable color. And it is bottled at a fairly whopping 58.7% alcohol by volume. All right, so we need competition for this, and I'm going to use this little half bottle here. This is a Grosperrin Fins Bois 1988 cognac. And it is, there's a lot number on here somewhere. Lot number 235, limited to 70 liters. Now, this is considerably older than the Gregarious Grump. Not that much more expensive, but older. So, I mean, the deal with this is, this doesn't have to win, right? It just has to kind of, I mean, not up against something with this kind of firepower. Like, this is a proper old cognac. All this thing has to do is, pick your own metaphor, not get knocked out, not get lapped, that kind of, not embarrass itself, basically. All right, so let's see what we got. Ooh, that's nice. All right, starting with the Grosperrin. Here we go. 4 minutes in, I'm finally getting the review. All right, so this is a tiny, tiny bottling, 30 plus years old, bottled at 47% alcohol by volume. Both of these are actually Fins Bois, I should say. So even though you have to go to the seal box site to actually find that out, it doesn't say on the bottle itself, which is kind of annoying. Anyways, but they're both from the same region, which is why I put them together. So the Fins Bois, I swear I'm going to get to tasting notes. The Fins Bois is probably the largest growing region in cognac. It's the area right outside of, well, okay, you have the city of Cognac itself, and then the borderies, and then around that you have the Champagne regions, the Petit Champagne and Grand Champagne, and outside of them is where the Fins Bois is. So these tend to have a reputation as being fruitier, a little bit lighter, more accessible, less suited for long-term aging. That's kind of the reputation for these. All right, let's stick our nose into this Grosperrin right here. See if that this kind of punches above its lineage, I suppose. Oh, I like this. Understated is the word, but very complex. Yeah, so there's a grapiness to this. Almost a Moscato character, but nice. But nice Moscato, like high-end Moscato, like Pio Cesare level Moscato. There's a little bit of a caney quality to this too, even though it's cognac, almost like a cane syrup thing. Slightly floral, so like a clump of wildflowers. It's not really some of the stuff closer to the city of Cognac can get very, very floral. This isn't really doing that. It's just a little, yeah, clump of wildflowers thrown in for fun. There's some like Lipton's tea bags, old tea bags. There's a pleasant mustiness to this, which is really what's making me happy, and which is kind of giving this an extra dust. It's a little bit extra depth. It smells a little bit like an old attic or something. It's hard to pin this thing down. It's I'm not sure if that's because it's a little bit vague, or if it's just I'm not giving it the proper attention. All right. Anyways, let's have a sip of this. Ooh. If this was subtle on the nose, it is not subtle on the palate. Much more dense and more interesting as well. There's that grapiness again, that kind of, Moscato but nice quality. Lots of fresh flowers. Certainly some tea, like some Ceylon tea or something, black tea. But then, like, there's that musty thing, which is much more serious and interesting here. It's like old furniture, but old furniture where there's like mushrooms and stuff growing on it. Yeah, the nose feels more like a musty attic. This is more like a musty basement where maybe there was, like a flood a couple of years ago and never really cleaned it up. So it's a little, maybe it's not entirely sanitary down there, but nice is what I'm getting at. Lots of fruit too. Figs, raisins, dried nectarine, black pepper. You know what this reminds me of? So a couple of years ago, I reviewed Douce, Jay-Z's cognac, right? And I wasn't, blown away by it or anything, but I appreciated the basic character of like classic raisiny cognac goodness meets this kind of weird, like dank cellar kind of character. That's Douce. This feels like almost a better version of Douce. That's kind of what this is doing. And I'm all here for it. It's definitely not bringing the floral complexity of like a Borderies or something, but hey, it doesn't need to. It's a really nice cognac. All right, so now the Grump has its work cut out for it. Let's see. Okay, this is a 10-year-old, distilled 2011, bottled 2021. As I said, it is a Fins Bois, although again you have to look at the seal box site to know that, because I guess they didn't really have room on here to write the region beyond just cognac. 3,880 bottles, so a much larger batch. Unfiltered, uncut. I'm guessing no additives. And 58.7%. Sorry, my glasses mixed up. Okay, here we go. Ooh. I thought for a second maybe I'd mixed up my glasses, but no. Ooh, Jesus. This is the correct glass, sorry. All right, on the nose, we'll come to the palate in a second. Ooh. Okay, so this is, I'm trying to think, what is a good word? It's much more raw, for lack of a better word. Grape juice, but nice. I mean, mostly there's a lot of. I hate to use the word heat because it's overused, but there's a lot of heat on this, and I don't think it's just the ABV. It just feels. It's very prickly. What else we got? So we got grape juice, cigar, like a Connecticut leaf cigar. Oof. White pepper and just that aggressive nip, the heat. Caramel, vanilla. No, not quite. It's not. It's like vanilla coffee creamer. You know those little things with the vanilla flavor. Slightly perfumey. Yeah, this just feels young. Yes, I mean it's 10 going on 5, but I mean there's a rawness to this that kind of surpasses age. All right, let's go on the palate. Here we go again. Oh. Again, very hot and nippy. I don't think it's just the alcohol. Well, we'll see when we add some water. Beyond that, it's pretty simple. It's pretty basic. Pepper, not just pepper. There's some like jalapeno in this. Grape juice, toffee, English breakfast tea. That kind of lighter style of cigar again, like Connecticut cigar. And the finish has this kind of potpourri thing going on. There's very little flowers, and then boom, it's like a flowers, but it's not. It doesn't feel like it's entirely in balance. Hold on. Oh, yeah, it's like potpourri mingling with the alcohol, with the heat. So it's not my favorite, but I'm very eager to see what this does with water. So let's give this a couple squirts. It's going to need at least 4. I'm guessing 5. Ooh. Let's go 4.5. So on the one hand, my fear about this being too oaky has not come through. It doesn't come across as excessively oaky at all. It's just but what's there doesn't feel like it's wholly in balance. Ooh. Well, anyways, we'll come back to that in a bit. See what happens. For now, back to the Grosperrin, the 1988. See what this has done with water. Hold on. My mouth is on fire. Okay, here we go. On the nose. Okay, now the aromatics are starting to kick in a little bit more. There's kind of a blood orange kiwi thing happening now, which I like. Lots more nectarine, lots more peach. More flowers. There's some cardamom happening. But that mustiness, which is really making me happy, is still what's really making me happy about this. It's just it makes it feel very, I don't know, old school and classical. It makes me want to plop down in a period drama with, and I don't know, smoke a pipe or something. On the palate, palate mostly stays the same. Not a whole lot of change there. Mostly it's the wood tannins come out a little bit more on the back end. Yeah, a little more peppery, a little more tannic. Otherwise, it was good before, and it is still good right now. I can't go into the stratosphere with this. It's very good. it doesn't have the additional layers for me to really push this deep into the 80s. So I'm going to call this an 86 out of 100. 86 out of 100 for the Grosperrin Fins Bois 1988, lot 235. Nice. Grab it if you see it. It's also very reasonably priced, as I recall. All right, and back to the one that's scaring me a little bit right now. Gregarious Grump. What's scaring me is usually when I add water to a spirit, the pepperiness comes out a little bit more. And this thing was already like peppery as heck to begin with, so let's see what happens. Yeah, the nip is still there, for one thing. And I gave this like 4.5 squirts of water, and the nip is, it still smells hot. I mean, there's nice aspects to this. I like the kind of caramel toffee thing. I like I like aspects of the pepperiness. Yeah, it hasn't really developed in the nose. It's the alcohol is definitely toned down, which I was expecting, but it's still just still smells hot. And honestly, I think it has to do with the distillate. I think. Well, hold off on my thoughts until I try this on the palate again. Ooh. In terms of the character, exactly the same. Maybe a touch of old wood coming out, like kind of musty wood. Yeah, otherwise pretty much the same as it was the first run round. And it, again, which is to say it's still pretty prickly beyond the ABV. I don't think this was a problem with the cask. I think it was just like, I don't think the distillate was flawed per se. I just think it wasn't as well made as it could have been. It feels like something that was distilled, fermented as quickly as possible, distilled fast and hot, with, the cuts, chosen for as high a yield as possible. That's kind of what this feels like. It feels like the distillation was, and the production process was too aggressive. It's something I've gotten a lot in, like, big four cognacs, frankly. It tends to be covered over by other problems, like the sugar and the weird oak slurry that they put into this stuff. But even without those things, kind of here it is in this grump here. Yeah. Ooh. There's good qualities here. I think I'm guessing this was picked to be made for cocktailing, and I think for that purpose it will serve just fine. This will absolutely show up and not get lost in also all your favorite brandy cocktails. I don't know if I'd old-fashioned this, but yeah, you can make run through them all. Brandy Crosta comes to mind. It's a bit too expensive for something just for cocktailing, but there's probably a market segment for that. Score-wise, 80 points. 80 points. I don't think this is good, but I don't think this is excessively bad either. I think there is a time and a place for something like this, and that's with, lemon juice and probably some orange liqueur or something. Anyways, thanks for watching. I hope this was educational. 86 for the Grosperrin, 80 points flat for the Gregarious Grump. Thanks for watching and cheers.